Today's workout is a 15-minute first trimester upper body strength workout. We'll strengthen and tone your upper body using a set of dumbbells. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. We've got a 15-minute first trimester upper body strength workout. You'll need a set of dumbbells, maybe a few different sizes depending on what we're doing. We're going to work the upper body in standing and in a kneeling position. So we're going to begin first with a set of dumbbells in standing. We're going to bring those feet under the hips. We want to make sure we have the knees soft and our core nice and braced, belly button to spine. And we're going to begin with a lateral raise, starting with the right arm. We're going to take it out to the side and then the left arm. So we're going to alternate the arms here. We're lifting the arm to shoulder height, keeping the knuckles to the ceiling. Exhale on that lift so we can fire that deep core and pelvic floor. And that's really important as we continue to move through our pregnancy, first trimester and beyond, strengthening the core and the upper body together. We're continuing on. We're going to move for 45 seconds today and then rest for 15. But if you need more breaks, if you need to decrease that time interval and rest a little longer, that is perfectly okay. Or even decrease the weight as you go. It's the first trimester. We're just trying to survive sometimes. I've been there. Okay, rest. And then we're going to move to a front raise. So we're going to stay in that same position, but I'm going to turn to the side to show you what it looks like from a side profile. So in the front raise, you're going to lead with the knuckles again, but take the weight straight up in front of the shoulders. Exhale, use that core. Bring the weights to shoulder height and the arms straight. Now, as the arms come away and you have a heavy weight in your hand, you're going to want to compensate by leaning back, but I want you to think about using your core for stability. Knees soft, abs tight. And then lift with control. So you're not just letting the weight swing to the top, you're lifting with control. You can usually tell if you're swinging if your hips are moving, right? So if your hips are stable, you're using the upper body to generate that power. Few more reps here, 10 seconds. 45 seconds is a long enough time to really get to fatigue here, and that's what we want. We've got to fatigue the muscle to get it stronger. Okay, we've got a rear deltoid raise. So we're going to tip forward and bring those weights to the knees. Knuckles face the front, palms face your knees. We're going to pull the elbows up and back to the back corners. So we're pulling the elbows up and back, exhaling as we pull, keeping that back nice and straight here. As you can see from the side, I've got a long straight back. My chin is tucked. My core is engaged. So it's a really good back body postural strength exercise here, which is so important in the first trimester and beyond to learn how to properly use our postural muscles to strengthen them for the demands of pregnancy, because naturally our posture suffers. And a lot of that is not necessarily to our fault, but if we can learn how to properly work those postural muscles and engage them, it's going to help us stay comfortable and supported during pregnancy. Okay, now we're going to move to an alternating overhead press. So we're going to take those dumbbells and we're going to start with them at shoulder height. I'll show you that in a minute because I don't want to waste my arms. So shoulder height, 90 degrees. Exhale, raise one arm overhead. Let's switch. So we're using the core still. Very important as that weight goes overhead to make sure we have good core function here. So we want to exhale, keep that spine in neutral. You can see I'm not keeping an anterior or a posterior tilt. We want a nice neutral pelvis, neutral spine. And then as you come down, you've got a couple options. I'm keeping my elbows up at 90 degrees. That's going to make it harder. But if that is too intense, you rest that opposite arm dumbbell on the shoulder. Let's get back up there. It's only 8 seconds. This one's tough no matter what size weight you have. All right, rest. We're going to move on to a rear deltoid fly. So kind of like that rear deltoid raise, we're going to come into a hinge position. And this time we're going to take the arms out wide, straight out to the side. So let's find that position again. This time, dumbbells are going to face inward, palms face inward. Arms out wide, knuckles up. So it's kind of like that lateral raise in a hinge position. So we get more back body here, more core. Use that breath. It's going to feel harder the wider we take the arms, the longer the lever and the harder it's going to be. So if you feel like these are getting more challenging, you can always decrease the rep range, decrease the time interval, take a longer break, shake it out. Or if you really need to decrease the weight, of course, if you can't do this with good technique. But even if you're struggling, I would say you don't need to decrease the weight. You might just need to shake it out, take a break, and you might hit failure earlier, which is better than stopping and then dropping the weights. So try to stay with it. Moving on to hammer curls. So we're gonna come to standing. We're gonna bring those dumbbells straight up to the shoulder line, keeping them parallel to each other. Really simple here. Just bringing those weights up parallel. You don't have to touch the shoulder, but about a fist distance in front of the shoulders is good. Again, neutral pelvis, neutral spine here. Using that breath. You might be able to do more on your biceps than shoulders. So if you feel like, oh, it's a little light or I'm not quite fatiguing at the halfway mark, grab a heavier set. We really want to hit fatigue. It's not a long interval and we're only doing everything once. So we want to hit that fatigue after every interval. Okay, we're gonna go to bicep curl pulses, but we're still working the biceps, so you have a little bit longer to hit fatigue just in different exercises. So now we're gonna move to a mid-range pulse. So we're gonna keep the dumbbells 90 degrees and we're gonna pulse 1 inch up, 1 inch down. So elbows are under the shoulders, 90-degree angles here. This one is really gonna challenge you and your endurance. So you're trying to stay in that mid-range, about 90-degree position, only 1 inch up and down, squeezing the forearms toward the biceps every time you pulse. Now, same thing with that posture, neutral spine, neutral pelvis, abs tight. And if you need to, again, you can decrease the weight, but I'd rather have you hit failure than drop the weight just because it's a little hard. Stay in there. We've got less than 10 seconds left. Woo. Burns so good. Okay, next up we're going to a wide bicep curl. So we're going to hit the biceps one more time. Let's turn those dumbbells out. So we're going to take the elbows close to the ribs here. Bring the weights up and out toward the outside of the shoulder. This is the hardest one yet. For me it is, because that lever is so challenging, because here you can feel it at the bottom, still in the forearms, and at the top, we really hit those biceps in a new way. If you're having to slow down, again, that's not a bad thing. I don't want you to drop your weight necessarily. If you can still maintain good technique, but you're struggling a bit, that is the sweet spot. That's where you're gonna build muscle. That's where you're gonna get stronger, so stay right there. And building muscle is so crucial for pregnancy, any time period of life, but really pregnancy, we have a tendency to lose muscle just from not working out or just from the demands of pregnancy. So if we can build as much muscle as possible, maintain as much muscle as possible, that's gonna set us up for a better pregnancy. Okay, lose one of those weights. Keep one, we're gonna go to a tricep extension. So feet under the hips, spine in neutral, we're gonna take that dumbbell overhead. Then take it to the base of the neck, and overhead. So we're bending at the elbows. You can see my elbows are in front. They're not out here, they're in here. You want them tucked in, and you also want your shoulders retracted. So your shoulder blades are back and down, away from your ears. And you've got that strong core. We're exhaling on the push here, and we're getting that nice extension over the shoulders. Really warming up the back of these arms because we're going to keep working them. We've got a few different intervals for the triceps. Now we're going to make our way to the floor. So just very carefully make your way to the floor. We don't need any equipment for this next exercise, but you will need your dumbbells again in a minute. Okay, so the tricep press, we're going to walk the knees back and then walk the hands a few inches in front of the shoulders. We're going to bend the elbows, lightly kiss the ground, exhale, brace the core, push back up. So it's kind of like a tricep push-up. We're coming all the way down to the floor. If you can, just kiss those elbows to the ground, push back up. So if you are feeling like that's too intense, you can bring the knees in. Just keep the hands in the same position, bring the knees in. But you want those hands a little bit in front of the shoulders, because if they're right under the shoulders, it's hard to get all the way down, which is not wrong. That's a tricep push-up, but if you come all the way in front, you can really get those elbows to touch, and that's what we want to do. And you're keeping those elbows parallel to each other. So when they kiss the ground, you see those forearms are parallel. You're using your core. All right, we're gonna rest again, and we're gonna go to a tricep kickback. So grab one of your weights. I'm gonna go a little lighter than I was. Kickbacks, since it's a single arm movement, it's gonna be a little more challenging. So what you wanna do is bring one leg forward, 90 degrees at the knees, and lean into that front leg. We're gonna take the weight up to the hip and then extend the arm and then bring it back to the hip at 90 degrees. So we're gonna keep that dumbbell at the hip and then extend, leading with the pinky finger. We want to keep that elbow high and then the shoulder down. So we don't want to creep that shoulder up as we lift the elbow up. And you can see I'm also leaning into my front leg. That's going to give me some leverage to help me lift the weight up. Because if you're right up here, it's really hard to kick back and get that full range of motion. So I'm just putting my elbow on my opposite thigh here. All right, we're going to repeat that on the other side. So again, leaning into it here. Let's do it. Big squeeze, contraction at the top. Can accomplish a lot in 45 seconds, and we're getting full body here. So we can feel strong and supported through the first trimester, through our pregnancy. Upper body strength is so important, as you know. We're gonna be carrying a lot of weight in our arms in a few short months. Rocking, nursing, just carrying a baby, picking up all the kids' stuff. We need those arms to be strong. We need our back to be strong. All right, we're gonna move now to a push-up. So we're gonna take these nice and slow here, taking the hands wide and the knees wide. So we want the nice wide base of support. We're gonna go slowly to the bottom, chest about elbow level, exhale, nice and easy to the top. So we're gonna move really slow and controlled here, being mindful of where we're at in our pregnancy. You've got a couple options here. You can stay with the knees here. If that is too intense, if you can't manage that pressure in your core or feel like it's just too intense, bring the knees in, just like we did for that tricep press. This time our elbows are just wider, so we're working more into the chest. And push-ups are so good because not only are we strengthening our upper body, we're learning how to manage that core pressure and use our core and pelvic floor with the upper body, because nothing works in isolation. All right, we're gonna roll onto our back carefully, and we're only gonna be here for a short amount of time. So that is generally safe, but if you have been told otherwise by your provider, listen to them. We're just gonna carefully roll onto the side and then onto our back. Bring your weights up for a chest press. You want to start over the shoulders and then bring the elbows wide, just barely touch the ground and push up. Exhale on that push. Squeeze your pecs together so that muscle, you'll feel it right in between your armpits as you squeeze to the top. Nice and wide like goalposts at the bottom, and then narrow at the top of the move. So it's the reverse of the push-up. This time we're using weights to just overload the upper body in a new way. And again, if at any point this doesn't feel good, you can feel free to stop or roll onto your side for a second. And we're gonna begin next with a chest fly. So we're gonna use those same weights, just make sure you have some space to take the arms wide. So we're gonna start with them in that same position, but this time they face inward. We're gonna take the arms wide, elbows lightly kiss the ground, and then exhale, bring them together. So this is where you're really going to feel that pectoral connection right between the armpits. So when you come wide, I want you to arch your upper back just a little bit. And then as you lift, round your upper back, squeeze between the armpits like you're giving someone a hug. You're wrapping your arms around. Just a few more reps here. We're about to finish this workout. Whether you're starting your day, ending your day with your workout, whether you're pushing through first trimester nausea, you can feel good knowing that this workout's going to help you feel strong and supported during your pregnancy. Now carefully set the weights down, carefully roll onto your side. We're going to come back up to that seated position because we made it. I hope you guys enjoyed that first trimester workout for your upper body. Let me know what you think in the comments, where you're at during your pregnancy. And if you are following along with any of my other first trimester workouts, I have an entire playlist and I'll be taking you along through my pregnancy each trimester and all the workouts I'm doing. So stay tuned and I'll see you back here for our next workout together.